The Sport Writers Association of Nigeria and Lagos chapter once again unveils the Food Security and the Sport Diplomacy Day in commemoration of the United Nations World Nutrition Month. With so much pageantry and so much from the force, talking about from the Air Force, as well as the customs, as well as industries, captains of industries that are involved in nutrition and the safe well-being of athletes, and so much to do with Nigerians. We're here once again to take a look at World Nutrition Day, what it does to the human, and what it does to sport lovers all over the world.
The CEO of Neo Agro African Foods. Basically, we have different products. We have powdered radio, we have soya spice, we have pepper spice, we have ginger and garlic spice, we have palm oil, bleached palm, we have ewa going spice, because just to make everything easy, looking for the pepper, so you can just do your oil and your spice. And we have gari jebu, we have ewa oloyin, we have ofada rice from Ogun State, because I'm from Ogun State too, in Itoko. So, and they are rich in fiber, vitamin A, C, and E. They are all good for the body.
We know that Nigeria is a fish eating country. We love to eat fish a lot. But sadly, about 40%, we only produce about 40% of the fish we eat, and our market is filled with a lot of imported fish products. But at Grazian Farms, we're trying to make it easy for Nigerians to love to eat our own fish. So what we do is we create variants of innovative fish-based products that makes eating Nigerian fish interesting. Like we actually bake this nuts. Also, millet chin chin, it is gluten free, so it's good for people with celiac disease, gluten intolerance. They can eat without difficulty of inflammation or a spike in their blood sugar level. Also, these are potato chips. This is what it looks like. It is orange. It's made from orange potatoes. It's also gluten free. It is rich in vitamin A, and it's actually biofortified with vitamin A.
So this is one of the first powdered milk in Nigeria. First powdered milk
Very
in
good.
Nigeria. So it has a lot of nutritional value. We have vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D3, vitamin E and K, vitamin B9 that to make the red blood cells, white blood cells, and proteases crucial in spinal cord and brain formation. So we also have different values. The vitamin A is essential for good eyesight development and more other things included in this brand.
And as Nigeria is concerned, the Sport Writers is here again under the leadership of Oladuni. We're here to have fun and at the same time educate and make sure that we are also entertained.
For food security and sport diplomacy. You cannot separate the two really. Food security, sport diplomacy, you cannot separate it at all. And I'm very happy that our students are here as well to be part of this, to witness this as well, including all those who have supported in terms of material for this event, and also all the other invited guests here. So I'm quite honored to be here today, and I hope you'll be around later on when I make a few remarks regarding some of the things that we as traditional rulers are also obliged to do in our role, even though we don't have constitutional role. But we know very clearly that some of these things we have very important roles to play, and as traditional rulers and those of us who really know what we'll be doing, we are really completely keyed into all of these activities.
This event speaks for itself, and the take home is very obvious. You see, for the sport writers, you don't just write sports or you don't engage in sport when you are not better fed. And so, talking about food security and other associated issues that is being looked at today, I think is a good one, and I must commend the Lagos State chapter of SWAN for putting up this together.
pretty quickly, hence the high turnover, that and the high energy. Absolutely rattling at it here, and this might here, Dessert! No call to make. Nigerian free kick as well. Glancing head on in, it's crept all the way in.
All right, talking about all the action that just went down just before you joined us in the studio. And of course, we've been taking a tour around the exciting world of sports. And of course, it promises to be exciting as we first of all took you to Unilag, where the Sport Writers Association of Nigeria had an event to mark the United Nations Nutrition Day. And of course, the captains of various industries were there. And of course, the armed forces was ably represented, and the traditional rulers were not left out of the action. And of course, talking about sport and nutrition unifying to give us a healthy life as far as being a human is concerned. We also went to the National Sport Festival, and our man, talking about Kisike, is live there in Abeokuta, where the final ceremony for the National Sport Festival is currently ongoing. And we've been seeing pictures of what is happening in Abeokuta as we speak. It doesn't get any better. You get it all on Voice of the People TV, talking about the atrocities, what is really happening at the, talking about the National Sport Festival. It is the Olympics as far as the Nigerian athlete is concerned. It is the National Olympics as we want to look at it that way. Talking about the National Sport Festival currently going on in Abeokuta, talking about the Gateway Games, we want to call it that way. And of course, I hope you enjoyed the pictures as they come. We'll be giving you more action from the Gateway Games, talking about the National Sports Festival, where today is the final day. The medals are beginning to trickle in. We'll be able to unveil the medals table as the show progresses as well. And don't forget, the Super Eagles also played a crucial, well, let's say a friendly game, not crucial, because anyway, there's something at stake. Talking about the Unity Cup out there in England. They play against the Black Stars of Ghana. The Jollof Derby, it was tagged, and the Nigerian Jollof actually won. Talking about the best Jollof in the world is the Nigerian Jollof as far as Jerry Apelio is concerned. All right, Mariwa gets to join us virtually, and we saw a pool of NPFL stars in that game, and it was so glad to see an NPFL player playing in the Nigerian League assisting Seredesa's first goal in that game, which ended 2-1 in favor of the Super Eagles. And as we speak, they are preparing for the final against Jamaica. Mariwa, I know you saw a bit of that game, you've seen the goals. And what's your assessment of the performance of the Super Eagles in that game last night?
Well, I think it's always amazing to be here. I think the boys did good yesterday, and I was so happy when I saw representation from Remo Star, Sikiru Alimi. I think that guy should be part of the Super Eagles. I mean, he has shown again that he possesses top-notch quality, and he was very instrumental in yesterday's game. Ismaila Sadiq, also from Remo, was also very fantastic, operating from the right fullback, and was also instrumental in giving an assist to Siri Dessel. Papa Daniels too, gave a good account of himself. However, 3 out of 10, I was still not satisfied. I would have expected, more representation from the home base. I think the other report that came out that said the home base players were not measuring up. I don't that was the case. The performance of Sikiru Alimi and Sadiq Ismaila yesterday is an indication that if we give our home base players, the opportunity and the chance, they can stand their own. They played excellently well yesterday, and I'm really, really proud of them. For the game, we did so well. Bali was a bit jittery, but also, I think he made some crucial save that is beginning to make me think probably, he's beginning to grow into like an Eyama. And if he continues with that kind of performance, he might hold down the number 1 share. But overall, I think it was a great performance. Yes, there are a little, mistake here and there that Chelle needs to work on. In the second half, we dropped deep and we allowed a whole lot of room for the Ghanaians to operate. The same thing, the same mistake we made against Zimbabwe, the same mistake repeated itself yesterday again. However, I think, overall, we played very well. Just some little corrections, that Chelle would need to make in the next game.
All right, corrections he needs to make in the next game. And of course, the head coach of the senior national team of Nigeria, talking about Chelle, has explained why the team ran out of steam in the second half of their 2-1 win over Ghana at the Unity Cup. The Super Eagles took a commanding 2-0 lead into the second half, but failed to match the performance of in the second half of allowing the Ghanaians to pull the goal back, and had to rely on goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali to not draw the game. Reacting to a question why the team collapsed in the second half, something that cost them a point in the World Cup qualifiers game against Zimbabwe when they considered late to 1-1 draw, to draw 1-1, I beg your pardon. The coach blamed it on his style of play, which the players are still getting used to. And he says that his philosophy is that he wants to make some high pressure on the pitch, but the system is very difficult for the players. And he said, and I quote, that my dream is that I want my team to make some high pressure in 90 minutes. But I think it is impossible. So we need to work and improve, he said at the post-match conference. I think it will be difficult to have the Super Eagles play high pressure game for 90 minutes because some of these lads, I think they don't have the stamina to be there, to be at the same tempo for 90 minutes. And it means that he has to look at more younger players, not players who are supposedly 25, but we all know the story. That means you have to look at more younger players who can run, who can give you and that speed. And of course, I know Osimhen and Lookman are up to the task. But what about the midfielders? Wilfred Ndidi can no longer give you that kind of pace, that pressure football for 90 minutes. So that means he will have to start making plans to start injecting more younger players. I'm glad that Felix Agu is with the team. And I think there are very few teams that play that high pressure game when it comes to football. I know Liverpool plays such a high pressure game. I've seen that with Paris Saint-Germain. Maybe it's common with some coaches. I don't want to say French managers, but if Chelle wants to play that, I think the Super Eagles players, he will have to inject more young players. Maiwa.
Well, definitely, I think the bottom line is this. I think the players that we have at the moment, they cannot execute perfectly what an NHL wants, and that's the reason why we tend to struggle immediately. They at the later part of the game, they begin to lose steam, and that is unconnected, and that is not unconnected to the fact that they are not very used to moving the way they are moving. The movement is so frequent that you have to be transversing the full length of the pitch for you to be able to play high pressure. However, the reason why the pressure is on all the players, the reason why majority of them, end up getting tired is this: we don't have a very solid midfield, we don't have ball playing midfielders that can do the job, and that is the reason why we are struggling. I'll give you a typical example. If you look at the Barcelona side, they play high pressure. They literally stay, on the midfield line. And the reason why that is very successful, apart from the fact that they keep offside and the rest of that, the reason why that is very successful is because they have ball playing players, that can hold the ball, that can draw the pressure to themselves, the likes of Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, and the rest of them. They are ball playing players, they can hold the ball, and they attract a lot of pressure, giving enough room for other players to work, with without running excessively. Also, if we are also talking about playing high pressure, our team, the way they set up, the high pressure they are trying to play, it does not suit them. The reason is this: they are not keeping the offside trap properly. If you are playing high pressure, it means your defense line will have to move forward. They will move very close to the midfield. But in the case of Nigeria, that is not happening. I think we need defenders that will be able to read the high pressure game properly if Chelle wants to succeed. However, one thing that he needs to do as a coach, the crop of players he has at the moment, they cannot play once. That is where the adaptability comes in. And for Chelle, I don't think he has been able to do that in the last 4 or 5 months that he has joined the Super Eagles. I hope going forward in the game against Jamaica, he's able to tweak his team to be able to adapt to the kind of talent he has at the moment, because at the moment we don't have those quality players that will be able to deliver on the way he wants to play.
All right, and of course, it was impressive to see that the stadium was full to capacity. Talking about Nigerians showing their love out there in England towards the Super Eagles, and it's so good that they did not disappoint. But taking a look at the assessment of players like Cyril Dessers, quite a fantastic performance from Cyril Dessers and some other players who did very well in the first half. What's your assessment of those players going into the game against Jamaica? All right, Mario, are you still with us? Okay, Mario, please, can you unmute your audio so we can hear you? All right, it seems like Mario is still taking this. All right,
Yeah.
we can hear you now. Mario, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. So sorry, yeah. You are talking about Cyril Dessers, right?
Yeah. Yes, I'm talking about Cyril
Yeah. So
Dessers, yeah.
I mean, the thing is this. Yeah, it's never too late. It's a late bloomer. Yes, he struggled a bit in, with Rangers. And remember, when we were talking about the World Cup qualifier, one of the players we clamored that we wanted to see was a Cyril Dessers. We wanted to see if we'll be able to, bring another dimension into our team rather than relying on Osimhen. At the moment, and on alone, sometimes, they might mark Osimhen out. Osimhen might not be fully fit, and anytime Osimhen does not play, we are always struggling in front of goal. So, I mean, what Siridice did yesterday is an indication that he will be, he can step up to be counted. If you look at his movement in the 18, if you look at his hit mark in the 18, he has the instinct of a deadly finisher. And if you look at how he scored, yes, a lot of people might say, the defender slipped, and that's the reason why. But the positioning was fantastic. That was the reason why he was able to score that particular goal. If that were to be, and I'm not too sure about Victor Boniface, if that were to be Victor Boniface will not be at that particular place to score that particular goal. And I think, going forward, we should have a Cyril Dessers in our team. Apart from the Osimhen that we have a Cyril Dessers. It provides, another tactical insight to the game. It provides another option for us in front of goal. Because, I mean, if we are going to qualify for the World Cup, definitely we need our strikers up and doing. A typical example, the game against Zimbabwe, if we had somebody else apart from Osimhen in that particular game, remember when Aroko Dare came in, that was when there was a bit of movement in front of goal. If you have somebody else apart from an Osimhen, I think probably that game against Zimbabwe would have won that game, probably would have scored 2 or 3 goals, rather than trying to protect the one goal lead. I hope Chelle is able to integrate a series.
Yeah, I think I agree with you very much, Maiwa, on that perspective. Because imagine an Osimhen was available, it would have been a disaster for Ghana. Imagine Lookman was even on that pitch. I think Ghanaians would have, I think they would have cried their way back to Accra. But it is what it is. And I saw the antics the Nigerians on X definitely did not have pity on the Ghanaians. It was, I think the Ghanaians had to leave the X platform. Okay, okay, and it's quite interesting as far as that one is concerned. We're already getting feelers from what's happening in Abeokuta, talking about the National Sport Festival. Anytime soon, maybe we'll be joining them live to give us action with what is happening live in Abeokuta as the show progresses. But when we hook up to what's happening there, we also have the head coach of the senior national team of the Black Stars of Ghana, talking about Otoado, says his team lost the game against the Super Eagles of Nigeria at the ongoing Unity Cup due to a sloppy first half display. Ghana fell behind 2-0 to Nigeria in the first half before rallying back with a better performance in the second half. Bayowa, Otoado is already giving us explanations, but like one musician said, he said, if you don't make it, you will explain, no evidence. I don't know, but there's evidence on the pitch that the Ghanaians for the first half were second best. But in the second half, even as much as they tried, but it was still not enough.
Well, the thing is, there's a popular saying, Maria Lobi Jesu. I mean, he's just telling us stories. The bottom line is Ghanaians did not do so well in that particular game. The first half was very shambolic. It seems like they were very afraid of the Nigerians. And that's the reason why we need to maintain our momentum. In the first half, there was a whole lot of momentum. We didn't allow the Ghanaians any room to be able to operate. But in the second half, we dropped it. It seems the players were a bit tired, and they kept their foot off the gas, and that's what gave the Ghanaians, the opportunity to be able to work with the pocket of spaces we are creating. So I mean, the coach does not have any excuse. Ghana did not step up to the plate, and Nigeria's defense, kudos to Nwabali that saved our blushes yesterday. If not for him, probably we would have drawn or even lost that particular game. But that's the hallmark of a champion. When you are down, you defend, and you secure the point. And that's what Chelle and Nigeria and the boys were able to do yesterday. Kudos to them. I hope Ado is able to rectify what went wrong with the team, and we'll be able to see an interesting game against Trinidad for the third place match.
Yeah, no, they're taking on Jamaica. Okay, Ghana taking on Trinidad. While the Super Eagles takes on Jamaica in the final, as the case is. Okay, we understand that Chelsea defender, talking about Tosin Adarabioyo, has cleared the air on playing for the senior national team of Nigeria after winning the Europa Conference League with Chelsea. And of course, Tosin was an unused substitute, and he has said that it's not like he is not interested in playing for the Super Eagles. That all the reports that were initially made about the whole situation were not true. And he said that I have never turned down Nigeria, and I've never had any conversations with them to say that I will be going to Nigeria. He started by saying that at the point of last season, he made it clear that he was in his final season at Fulham, and when they came back again, he was just joining Chelsea. He needed to stamp his ground. He needed to have a good final season at Fulham. So all of the excuses, but he's forgetting that age is no longer on his side. Maiwa, should you now wait for Tosin Adarabioyo to finish all of his issues before he will now decide to play for the Super Eagles?
I think it's just disingenuous to be saying that. He's very economical with the truth. He's not the first player, to be making a switch. Why would you say your club performance? You need to concentrate on your club before you make a switch. It's not as if you play for Nigeria every day, and it's not as if you be the one that will be filing the paperwork yourself. If you indicate interest that you want to play for Nigeria, the NFF will file the paperwork just like they did for Agu. They will file the paperwork and be part of Nigeria. The bottom line is this: I think he was weighing his option as regards whether playing for Nigeria or playing for England. And when he saw that the prospect for playing for England is not that very bright, also. And I'm not throwing short at him. He's a good player in his own right. I don't think he's that quality player that can break into the English national team. And that is the reason why he has decided to choose Nigeria. and this kind of things, and then definitely I understand the fact that he cannot come out and say that I'm making Nigeria a second choice. Obviously, that will create bad blood between him and the fans. But there's no point lying. We already know exactly what he was doing. He's not the first person to, Nigeria's approach, and he's not the first person to be making the switch. He will be through step one. There are a lot of players in our national team. Calvin Bassey made the switch. So the excuse of I'm trying to concentrate on my club and rest of that excuse was also hold water. I think it's just being economical with the truth.
All right, being economical with the truth coming from uh, Maiwa there. Okay, Maiwa, we would like to take ourselves to Abeokuta, and any moment from now, Kizi K will be giving us information with what is happening in Abeokuta for the sake of sports, and of course, when it comes to the nation, we'll be taking a look at what's happening in Abeokuta in the final day of the National Sports Festival. We'll take some pictures. We're still here on Locker Room on Voice of the People TV.
Get it forward pretty quickly, hence the high turnover, that and the high energy. Really well. Awkward cross here. Dessert! Yeah, call to make. And he delivers well. Glancing head on in! It's crept all the way in!
What song are you going to be playing?
Probably something from Asake.
Yeah,
of course.
Really?
All right, and of course, we just have to take you to Abeokuta, and of course, take you to London. That's what we do on Locker Room. We take you all around the world, and of course, our tentacles are everywhere as far as our sport is concerned, football is concerned. You can count on Locker Room to give you updates with all the action because it never stops, it never gets dull, because it's voice of the people. It's all about the people to make sure that you're satisfied with whatever we have in line to make your day sporting. That's the word I want to use as far as that one is concerned. My wife is still standing by, and I hope you've been enjoying the pictures from the National Sport Festival. And of course, you also enjoyed the Super Eagles game. At least the Ghana, the jollof rice battle has been settled. It's Nigerian jollof over every other jollof as far as jollof is concerned.
Even before the game, we already know that Nigerian jollof, is above, is head above shoulders, is ahead of every other jollof in Nigeria, jollof in Africa. I mean, I've tasted three different jollof from different countries, and Nigeria is number one. We have in Nigeria here, so definitely, for the games going on in Ogun State, I'm eagerly waiting to see the medal table. I want to see where my state rank, on the medal table. I want to see exactly where Osun State is on that particular table. I mean, because a whole lot has not been happening in terms of sport in Osun State, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they've performed in that particular game. I can't wait to see the final tally of that particular game. But in any case, let's see how it goes, Jerry.
All right, let's see how it goes. Okay, and let's go back to the Super Eagles. My one will be taking interviews of the players as far as the reaction after the game against the Black Stars of Ghana, and we'll also be taking words from Nathan Tella when we come back. Let's just take a listen from the Super Eagles players, and after that game against the Black Stars in London, talking about the Unity Cup.
Nigeria against Ghana is always a rivalry. So for us, we took that game as not like friendly, but more like the more serious because we don't want to lose against Ghana. We know the big rivalry against Nigeria and Ghana. So for us, we went to that game to win. The good part was that we took advantage of the first half, scored 2 goals. Though the second half was not what we not the best, but again we held them till they scored the 1-0. But I mean we're happy that we won the game.
It's an amazing feeling, to play for your motherland. I think that's every pride. That's the pride of every young kid that plays football out there. To be able to represent Nigeria, I think is the best feeling ever. And for me, I think I'm grateful to God for it. For me, I don't think I think about the caps now at the moment. I just think about every moment because I'm a Nigerian and we're here to represent Nigeria. So every time I get the opportunity, it will be something that I will be happy and proud to represent the country. There are a lot of players that kind of play inside the play. They are tough defenders. I think I watch these guys and I'm very proud when I see them. So I think a lot of Taribo's his videos are amazing, and when you watch them, you can see the passion, and that is what drives us, we that are coming. So I think for me, I'm really happy to get to know them and what they have brought to football, not just to football, but to Nigeria as a whole.
All right. Okay. You heard from Frank Oyeka there, and of course, Papa Daniel Taurid. He's a great fan of Papa Daniel, and we've been talking about the Super Eagles. And of course, I hope Taurid, who always joins us from the United States, would be happy with the performance of the Super Eagles. I would have loved to hear from him calling us to the studio. Of course, don't forget, the show is conversational. For those who are watching us on LCL TV channel 264, we are there we are here to serve you. Just make sure if you want to join in, you can call us via the WhatsApp platform. You can also drop your WhatsApp platform, drop your WhatsApp message, I beg your pardon, and you can also reach us via the YouTube platform, via the chat session. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV, and it's all about your voice. Okay, and of course, Tariq, we appreciate you for definitely showing your concerns, but definitely we are bigger and getting better as far as those issues are concerned. But let's talk about Bayer Leverkusen forward Nathan Tella has refuted reports in some section of the Nigerian media claiming that he deliberately refused to honor the call-up to be part of the team for the World Cup qualifiers. Tella was invited by former coach Finidi George for the World Cup qualifiers, and some say he was not happy that he did not get to play in those friendlies against Mali, especially. And because of that, he did not turn up for the qualifiers eventually. And even when he was invited later on for the Rwanda game, he did not turn up. But he said that he was injured. It was not like he refused to play for the national team, that he's always excited to play for the national team. And eventually he's been capped. And Maiwa, it's good to have the quality of Nathan Tella, whether you like it or not. He's one of the prospects as far as playing football in Europe is concerned.
Well, definitely we cannot overemphasize his importance in the title winning side of Bayer Leverkusen. He was also very instrumental. Yes, injury has not been kind to him, and I hope those reporting that he got Super Eagles. I hope to go and fact check themselves, because I know for a fact that he was actually injured. He was not even featuring for Bayer Leverkusen, and that is the reason why. I know for a fact that when Finidi invited them, he was not the only person that was a bit not satisfied with the treatment they got from Finidi George during those friendly. Remember, I think Umar Sadiq, if I'm not mistaken, also voiced out his frustration for the owing to the fact that they were invited, they left their clubs, and they came for a friendly, and Finidi did not deem it fit to feature them, and he don't even inform them that he was not going to play them. He just made them come train, and they were sitting down on the bench, and that he brought about a lot of resentment against Finidi George. However, I think actually enjoyed. That's the reason why. For him, I think he has a lot of quality, and I hope going forward, since he has been capped now, I hope going forward, we see his quality and we are able to integrate him into the national team. It's another thing to have a cap. It's another thing for you to be able to acclimatize yourself to the style of play of the Super Eagles, for him to be able to do magic the way he does for Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, definitely. We hope that he will bring that form from Bayer Leverkusen to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Talking about Nathan, the man they call Tella. Okay, and definitely Chelsea fans will not be happy if we end this show. I will not talk about that remarkable win for the Chelsea fans. This is for the Chelsea fans all around the world. It was fitting that Chelsea won their first trophy under the ownership of Todd Bowley and Clearly Capital through the magic of their most significant signing. Talking about Cole, the man they call Code Palmer. And among the 1.7 billion naira worth of talent brought in, albeit with sizable player sales balancing the books, they have unearthed several gems. Maiwa, you saw the final. It looks like Real Betis were going to carry the day, but somehow Chelsea rose up from their sleep, or would I say slumber, and got that victory in remarkable style. And then since then, they've been pouring salt on the injury of Arsenal fans. But it is what it is. They are all Londoners. They know how to get by. But it's a remarkable one for Chelsea. They get to play Champions League next season, and they end the season with the Conference League title.
Well, I think it's a very remarkable one. For all the stone that we threw at Todd Bowley for spending over £1 billion to assemble a team that could not win anything, I think they've shut everybody up. And, kudos to Enzo Maresca. Remember, Enzo Maresca season had a not so good season. Some part of the season, Chelsea were in form. Some part of the season, you begin to scratch your head and wonder, does Enzo Maresca knows what he's doing? However, for the inception of the Conference League, if Chelsea did not win, I would have been surprised, because I mean, they were tipped to be the winner, because they were dispatching everybody they played. In some parlance, there was even a joke about a university graduate attending the kindergarten class. I mean, obviously, you always be the person that was what happened in terms of the Conference League. However, you can't take anything away from Chelsea. The only club in London to have won every competition that UEFA has ever put on the shelf for everybody to contest for. It shows the kind of quality they have, and kudos to them. Kudos to Enzo Maresca. I think this takes away a whole lot of pressure. I mean, his first season he has delivered on the title, whereas there's a particular Arteta, and I'm not throwing stone at Arteta. There's a particular Arteta that has been with Arsenal for over 5 years. He spent a whole lot of money, and he has only just delivered one FA Cup. So kudos to Enzo Maresca. He has done so well, and it seems there's light at the end of the tunnel. And with them qualifying for Champions League, it will also attract top quality players. I mean, if Agostinho wants to go there now because of Champions League sport, I think I will not object to it, because I mean they are playing the biggest European competition next season.
Yeah, I want to toe your line on that one. That means Chelsea has now put themselves in a position to sign a very good striker, and Victor Osimhen can now take the option of joining Chelsea. Imagine if Victor Osimhen in that Chelsea squad, they'll be very difficult to beat, and they would be going for the league title, I must say. And I think I'm even worried for those who are Liverpool fans and Arsenal fans. They should be worried about Chelsea. If Chelsea decide to get Victor Osimhen in that squad, I think it will be very difficult to beat them this season, to even any title as far as that one is concerned, Maiwa.
Well, the thing is also in that particular game, and I hope Enzo Maresca, is taking note. Cole Palmer is very, very effective on the right hand side. There is no reason to play him effective on the right hand side. He came in yesterday and he was instrumental in changing that particular game. If you have a Cole Palmer playing from where he played yesterday, and you have an Osimhen, stopping the line for them, I think Chelsea will be unstoppable next season. I just hope Enzo Maresca has it in him to be able to sign the quality of Victor Osimhen. If Victor Osimhen plays in that particular Chelsea with Cole Palmer operating from the right, and Osimhen very rugged, not missing any chances with his movement in the 18, I think Chelsea will be unbeatable next season.
On that, Maiwa, but we hear that Chelsea are not towing our direction yet. Okay, we hear that Chelsea are leading the race to sign Ipswich striker Liam Delap after other Premier League clubs were made aware of his preference to move to Stamford Bridge. Manchester United, Everton, Newcastle, and Nottingham Forest were among the clubs to have shown a serious interest. But we understand that Maresca is more interested in having Liam Delap. But if they are going for Liam Delap, is it the quality they need to challenge for the Champions League? And I saw a Chelsea fan make the comment yesterday. He even chatted me. That's the word. He said he was not really impressed with Jackson dancing during the celebration of the tournament when he almost cost Chelsea the chance. Because if you're adding another, Liam Delap is a decent striker. I'm not going to say it's an average. He's an average striker whether you want to look at it. But adding a Liam Delap to what you already have, Jackson, Nkoko, and the rest, does that show promise that they want to win the league title? That they want to win titles, Maiwa?
Well, for me, is much more better. And I was watching his stats for this just past season. He scored 10 goals. And if you look at the position where he scored 10 goals, from the 18, he scores from different positions. From the not be a Chelsea player next season, I don't think he's fit enough. He has the quality to lead the lines for Chelsea if they want to challenge for the title next season. A Liam Delap or an Osimhen will be a better option than Nicolas Jackson.
All right, and of course, Nicolas Jackson, I don't know whether he's going to be in their plans next season, but he's still a Chelsea player. It looks like he's going nowhere, and they will need to sign a striker who can at least give them 15 to 20 goals, as talking about the challenge for titles next season. Well, that's where we leave it on Locker Room. It's been exciting having you guys join us. And of course, Maiwa, it's always awesome having your insight on locker room. All right, it seems like Maiwa is going to join up to watch the Gateway games.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, Maiwa, we're just signing out. We just say
Yeah,
thanks
can you
for
hear me?
being a part of the show. Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. It's always amazing to be part of the show. I hope Nigeria do the magic on Saturday and win the League Cup. Thank you for having me, Jerry.
Okay, all right. Of course, big thanks to the guys behind the scene for making it a great one. Unfortunately, we could not join with Kisike, who's live in Abeokuta, for talking about the Gateway Games, where the final ceremony is being held. And of course, big thanks to the likes of Victor, Alex, Paul, and as well as Ike Chuku. And my name is Jerry Apelahai, saying thanks for being a part of the show. And up next is Political Lens with Chukwuma Okoro. Like I always say, stay safe. If not doing anything at all, do it the sport.